Shortly after I got to Colorado Springs, I got invited to come out and to speak, to tell my story, brutal, tragic, horrible, crashed and burned in ministry, had an affair. Stacy stayed with me, went into counseling, spent years out of ministry. Tell that story to a room full of local pastors here in Colorado Springs. And I was hesitant to do that because I got hurt by a lot of pastors that I thought were friends when I crashed and burned. And so I was hesitant, but I did it anyway. It was a big mistake. It did not go well for me. I felt pushback. I felt rejected. I felt unwelcomed in this city. And I felt like they just wanted me to go away. So I didn't literally do this, but in my mind, I just flipped them all off. Thought, you know what? We'll never be friends. All right? We'll never be. I'm human too. Okay, so we'll never be friends. And I said, I'm just going to go build this church. I'm going to put my head down, and I'm going to build this church, and I'm going to show you. And you know what? So my heart was not in good space for about 5 years when it comes to other churches and other church leaders in this town. I tried my best to avoid them. And I'm not proud of that. God wasn't in that. I have a lot of regret about that. What not only did to me, what it did to us as a church. But here's the thing. About 5 years later, I got invited to come back to this group. Not only that, we got invited to host it right here in our brand new building in April of 2014. So we hosted it and I spoke. Can I tell you something? Something really significant happened that day. Not only in my heart, something significant happened in this city that day. And things began to change. And God, really what he did with me was, he just confirmed something that he'd already been stirring in my heart for about the last year and a half. He stirred it up in me, and I began to see things totally differently. Dallas Willard says it this way. Listen to this quote. He says, if you want to experience the flow of love, pause that. I want to experience the flow of love. I want love to flow out of this place, to flow out of our lives, to everyone that we bump into. Of course I want that, okay? The next time you're in a competitive situation, pray that the others around you will be more outstanding, more praised, and more used of God than yourself. Really? I'm like, God, can it just be a tie? Really pull for them and rejoice in their success. If Christians were universally to do this for each other, the earth would soon be filled with the knowledge of the glory of God. You guys showed me that. And my heart had been wrong for so long. My heart had been, I wasn't leading this church with the right heart. And I apologize to you. I'm sorry for that. But God had been stirring this stuff up in me. And now he's showing me this stuff. And now it's time for me to take action. And I've tried my best to do this. Some of these people that I was like are now some of my good friends. And you know what I did this morning on my way here? It takes me about 10 minutes on the drive. You know what I did? I prayed to all the churches in the city that come to mind. I just name them. Boom, boom, boom. All the pastors in the city that come to mind. And one would come out, and I'm like, really him? God's like, yes. I was like, okay. Still not sure. Jesus, you love him. Me, jury's still out. Okay, so I'm human. Anyway, but it feels so right and so good to do that. Unity. There's such power in unity. You know that? I mean, I love this. This is what Kevin Palau said in his book Unlikely. He said, unity is more of an attitude of love and humility. Recognize there's no way our limited understanding can be the whole story. We have to genuinely love every church and believe that they're a beautiful part of the body of Christ. We must believe that we need each other. We are one body. We desperately need each other. It's a lie that we thrive in isolation. We need to experience the joy of knowing other churches. We should practice speaking well of them. And I want us to be that place. And then he says this, we need to find at least one project in our city that we can do together with those other churches. And the coolest part is, by the time I read this book this year, we were already doing it. We were already doing just that, right? So yes. Look, God has dropped this vision of redefining Christian, changing what people think when they hear this word Christian right in front of us. It is the vision of DCC, but God has made this crystal clear. It is a vision that he intends to accomplish through all the churches in Colorado Springs working together, coming together to change what people think when they hear the word Christian in our city. That day in April of 2014, that day was the start of this 'Cause I Love You movement that's now happening in our city. And I just want you to know, great things are happening. Great things are happening. Let me show you, Because I Love You, this is the website. This was the original partners page. It needs to be updated because there's so many more. Not only churches, by the way, but businesses and stuff are partnering up in this thing. But this was just where it started. But now there's somewhere between 12 and 14, I think, churches who are financially committed, partner around one project, as he said, Springs Rescue Mission. We've partnered up with them to triple the number of beds and triple the number of seats in the cafeteria so they can feed and house more homeless people in our city. It's this love of Jesus thing. Yeah, you can clap for that. No strings attached. 12 or 14 churches have brought almost $1 million to the table to make that happen. It's unbelievable what God's doing in this Because I Love You movement that's happening in our city. And it fires me up, but the best part of it is this. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. And why are we doing this? We're just responding to the things that God is stirring up in us.